You guys know what time it is. Hector and Achilles skills have finally been revealed, and I got bad news. You better start saving up those gold heads. Join me to learn more. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. And today, we are talking about this guy, Prince of the Gleaming Helm, Hector, as well as Achilles, the two new commanders that have just been launched in Rise of Kingdoms. They're not in-game just yet, but their skills have been revealed, and wow. We're going to go through, we're going to read all the skills, we're going to talk about some synergies they may have with other commanders, and what this is going to mean to the 5-March meta. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's Shappy. I'm a sponsored Rise of Kingdoms content creator. Welcome to the Shappy Squad. But the problem with these two new commanders is they are technically commanders that are out of cycle. What this means is they just kind of appeared, they landed in the game, they're part of a new game mode, but they're also going to be meta commanders. Now, out of cycle means that they're completely disrupting all of our saving of gold heads. I personally have 1,200 gold heads, which means in theory I can max about 2 commanders, just going purely based off those gold heads. The problem is, we're also supposed to have new cavalry commanders that are coming around December-ish. So you have those, then you have infantry following, and you have Hector and Achilles. Oh my god, what are we going to do? So let's jump into it and see if Hector is actually worth our gold heads or not. Now, Hector is a secondary commander. He's supposed to be like the secondary commander, kind of like a modern age Philip. But let's talk about his skills and see if he's all he's hyped up to be. So first is going to be Shepherd of his people. This has a rage requirement of 1,000, nothing unusual there. But what is unusual is this skill's effects depend on the talents of the primary commander of this commander's troop. If it's infantry, it deals smite damage to a target troop with a damage factor of 2,600. That is a huge damage factor. That is probably one of, if not the biggest damage factors we've seen in-game just yet, and that's a secondary commander and its smite damage. And for the next 3 seconds, up to 5 nearby allied and friendly troops take 5% less damage. That's amazing. That is a huge buff. If you have Philip in your lineup and you have this guy in your lineup, that's insane. You're going to be totally set up. Okay, if he's run with cavalry, he launches 2 combo attack damages against a target troop, damage factor of 1,400, so that's 2,800 damage factor, so even more. And for the next 3 seconds, up to 5 nearby enemy troops take 5% more normal damage. Now, normal damage applies to smite, and it applies to basic attack and counterattack. It also applies to combo attack, which means if you have another combo attack damage output, this is actually pretty good. So with the modern meta, though, you're seeing 2 smite damage commanders. You could be seeing 2 combo attack damage commanders. This is interesting to me. Now, his third potential pairing is for archers and ranged, and he deals direct damage to a target troop, damage factor of 2,700, and for the next 3 seconds, up to 5 nearby enemy troops deal 5% less damage and lose 15 rage per second. I love the lose 15 rage per second. Unfortunately, it's only 3 seconds, so that's really not all that much when we talk about like rage and how that mechanic's going to work. But I do like it. I do like that debuff. So, oof, we're starting strong here. His next skill is this commander's troop gain 20% march speed, 10% health, and 30% defense. Those are good stats. The 30% defense is going to be pretty nice. The health bonus, I kind of wish it was a little higher, but that march speed bonus is also pretty good. 20% march speed already has me thinking maybe infantry pairing, maybe archer pairing. I like where we're sitting here. His third skill is Favorite of Apollo. This commander's troop takes 10% less normal damage. Good, we need a little tankiness. And when attacking a troop on the map, one of the following effects will trigger based on the talents of their troop's primary commander. If it's infantry, whenever you deal smite damage, there's a 50% chance that the damage will be increased by 15%. Wow. Can trigger up to 3 times per second and has a cooldown of 10 seconds. That cooldown kills me, but this could be additive with some of those smite damage increases from the smite talent tree as well. So that would be insane. Cavalry, whenever the troop launches a basic attack, it has a 20% chance to launch an extra combo attack damage factor of 400 and can trigger up to 3 times per second, cooldown of 10 seconds. I really like that. That's instant proc damage of a damage factor of 400. But it's per second. What does that mean? Up to 3 times per second with a cooldown of 10 seconds. So I guess that could be a damage factor of 1200? That's pretty good. Okay. And otherwise, whenever this troop inflicts a debuff on an enemy troop, it takes 5% less damage for the next 10 seconds. That's nice for tankiness. This effect can stack up to 2 times, and its duration resets whenever it gains another stack. But you notice there's not a cooldown there. So this could be a 10% less damage taken across the board. Wow. That's really good. Okay. Wow. I'm getting nervous, guys. Okay, on to the next. Valiant Mortal. If this commander's troop is attacking a troop on the map, if their troop's primary commander has infantry or cavalry talent, every second their troop has a 50% chance to gain a 20% bonus to normal damage. Oh my god. For the next 5 seconds. Cooldown of 7 seconds. Otherwise, every second their troop has a 50% chance to gain a 30% bonus to skill damage. That's also crazy. Dealt for the next 5 seconds. Cooldown of 7 seconds. 5 seconds. I wonder if that's long enough for your rage cycle to actually end up bonusing yourself. That could be really cool. You could end up boosting that first skill damage output. Oof. And his expertise. If this commander's troop contains only 1 unit type, it deals 10% more damage. Just a flat 10%. Okay. If their troop contains at least 2, it takes 10% less damage, smite, combo, skill damage. It's almost all damage. Okay. Wow. Lot to unpack here. So, first off, he is going to be a beast. I also like his skill animation. Wow. He's going to be a beast. He's a secondary commander. I'm thinking you're probably going to want to put him with infantry or cavalry. That's just what my gut is telling me. I feel like putting him behind an archer would be a waste, and I also don't see a good archer to put him behind. I guess you could put him behind Zhuge Liang, and that would help with some of this that we're talking about. Yeah, you deal some pretty massive rage. You got a little bit of tankiness, or that enemy troops deal 5% less damage. March speed is nice for archers. Defense is nice for archers. You got health coverage already. We'll have to jump in game and actually see how he could work with Zhuge Liang, but I'm already blown away. That's, woo, we're starting strong. Okay, now let's take a look at Achilles. So we have Achilles here, and Achilles is actually like kind of a Greek legend. He's amazing. He's so cool, and he actually dragged Herman on a chariot around an entire battle and ultimately ended up killing Hector. Not Herman, Hector. Oh, so cool. What a good piece of history. So, cavalry versatility combo. We needed a combo cavalry commander, but it's supposed to be next cycle, so unless you're not telling me something, Achilles, I got a problem. But that's okay. Let's look at his skills. He launches 2 combo attacks against up to 5 enemy troops, damage factor of 1000. Every additional target reduces the damage, and the target loses 20% march speed for 3 seconds. That march speed thing is not that big of a deal. I guess the main advantage is if you're in a murder ball, that loss of march speed is going to help out in terms of keeping that target from retreating effectively. But that's about 2000 damage factor. Kind of low, but it's also a circular AoE. Keep that in mind. I know you can't see it right now, but his skill animation will be shown at the end. The targets are also inflicted with Sundered for 10 seconds, increasing the damage they receive from this primary skill by 5%. This effect can stack up to 3 times. Its duration resets whenever it gains another stack, and it does not automatically clear when exiting combat. Ooh, that's fun. This is really good for murder balls, because one of the problems that we see happen more often than not in murder balls is you'll start your skill cycle, and then you'll leave combat and you lose a lot of your bonuses. What I'm seeing here is actually that you can have up to 15% bonus damage for this primary skill that just happens essentially while you're on the field. So that's awesome. And you just have to re-enter combat within 10 seconds. I'm here for it. Okay. Second skill, Wings of Arche. This commander's cavalry units gain 40% attack and 20% march speed, and while outside of Alliance territory, they also gain 10% health. I like that. Cavalry needs attack. That's not bad. I would have preferred for defense, but maybe we'll get some tankiness elsewhere. Hephaestion Armor. If this commander's troop is on the map, it takes 5% less damage, just a flat, less damage, love it. All incoming skill damage and combo attack damage and counterattack damage is reduced by 10%. Whenever this effect reduces a total of 3,000 damage factor of damage, this commander casts the Pelion Spear skill. So it's kind of like Joan, but not really. What is 3,000 damage factor of damage? I don't know how frequently this is actually going to be triggering. The other thing that I want to call out here is you notice it doesn't say smite damage. It says skill damage and combo damage and counterattack. This includes direct damage and additional damage, does not include ranged direct damage or ranged additional damage. Combo attack damage is bonus to normal damage. Yeah, this doesn't include smite, which is interesting. Smite is probably what this guy's going to be getting hit with the most, because infantry are going to be targeting cavalry. So this skill makes me feel uneasy, because skill damage is really just going to be archers at this point. Maybe a Ho Chu Bing, but we have so many cavalry commanders coming out, I kind of doubt it. And then combo damage, I don't know. I don't know about this skill. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This feels, I don't know what the 3,000 damage factor is going to look like. Maybe this is like every skill cycle you're going to be casting this, but it's reducing a total of 3,000. So it really means that it's like 30,000 damage factor output, which is like 10 skill cycles. And maybe I'm doing that math wrong. Bilek, let me know in the comment section. Okay, Sing the Wrath of Achilles. If this commander's troop is a field troop, which it will be, it deals 10% more normal damage, which also applies to combo attack. And whenever it uses the Pelion Spear skill, it gains a 10% bonus to rage gain speed and a 10% bonus to attack for 10 seconds. That's a great skill. This effect can stack up to 2 times. Its duration resets whenever it gains another stack, and it does not automatically clear when exiting combat. This is very, very interesting because it all stacks on that Pelion Spear skill. I don't know, guys. I like it. I like the normal damage bonus. That's essentially an all damage bonus when we're looking at this commander. The 10% bonus to rage gain is also going to be nice. And essentially that's after every skill cycle, you're going to get that. Occasionally, you're going to get a bonus. This also does not have a timer, which is nice. So this is also pretty good. And again, it does not clear when you exit combat, which is huge. And his expertise. It's an enhanced version of Hephaestion Armor. If this commander's troop is on the map, it takes 5% less skill damage. No change there. All incoming skill damage, combo attack damage, and counterattack is reduced by 15%. And when you reduce 2,500 damage factor of damage, this commander casts the Pelion Spear skill. Interesting. So this is the big question for me. And maybe there's a translation problem here. But my challenge is it reducing the total damage? In which case, realistically, this is every skill cycle, right? Because most commanders these days with their primary and secondary are going to be dealing 2,500 damage factor. Or is it 15% of the larger number, which is less likely to happen? And also, your commander's going to be cooked if you've taken that much damage. So I don't know about this. This makes me a little nervous. And here's that skill animation for you guys. It looks really cool. It's a really cool skill animation. Okay, so let's jump in game and start looking at like where the synergies for these commanders are, because I think there are some, but I don't know. A lot of people are really hyped about Achilles. I was talking to some people from 1079. They're like, he's gonna be awesome. I need to max him. And I'm like, I don't know. So I think the first commander that we gotta look at is probably going to be Arthur, because Arthur needs a pair. He doesn't have a good one right now. If this commander is serving as primary commander, their troop gains the Sword in the Lake effect, launching 2 combo attack damage against up to 3. Damage factor 1,400, so that's 2,800. Higher damage factor than Achilles, for the record. If this commander is serving as a secondary, yeah, you deal scale damage. That's not relevant. You get march speed, you gain attack, and you gain health. Ooh, already not liking that. Achilles is not giving us any defense. No defense from Achilles. So where are we going to get some defense? Equipment's not going to give us defense. I'm not liking that synergy already. Okay. If this commander is serving as a primary commander, their troop gains the Scabbard of a Lake effect, granting a 10% bonus to combo attack damage. Love it. We're not secondary. And if you're attacking a field troop, these damage bonuses are multiplied by 3, which is also going to be awesome. That's a 30% combo attack damage bonus and a 30% skill damage bonus. If this commander's troop is attacking a field troop, whenever it launches a combo attack or deals direct damage, it has 30% chance to reduce all targets' rage by 100. I like that. I wonder how this works with Achilles' skill, because Achilles, if we remember, he will actually... So he gets a bonus to rage gain. Okay, so that's actually not a bad synergy. So if we pull this up for you guys, Achilles gets a bonus to rage gain speed. So he's not debuffing enemies. Must have been Hector that's debuffing enemies. So this is actually pretty good, because what you're doing is you're debuffing the enemy. They're not putting out as many attacks, and you're buffing yourself with that rage gain speed. So I see a synergy there. And when you use an active skill, you get March speed. March speed is kind of whatever for cavalry. I need less at this point. Then you got the expertise. When you're serving, yeah, launch the basic attack has a 50% chance to launch 1 extra combo attack. Fine. Now, the 1 extra combo attack is interesting because when we were looking at Hector, there's instant proc damage there too. So this, I'm not thinking Achilles. That's just what I'm going to say. I don't think Achilles is the pair for Arthur. I think he needs defense. Otherwise, you've just got a glass cannon. And candidly, with the way Achilles skills are structured, you really need a commander that's going to be a little bit more tanky. I'm just not sold. Okay, let's look at Ho Chi Bang. The problem is there's not a whole lot of other combo attack damage commanders. I guess you could run Attila. That's just normal damage. Reduce attack. This skill's useless. Take less skill damage, but also deal less skill. That's fine. March speed and attack. You got no defense anywhere. I don't know who you pair Achilles with. William? Attack. Attack. Defense. Maybe? I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding a good pair there. I wonder if Philip is a pair? If we're missing that? Maybe that's what we're missing. I'm having a hard time finding a pair for Achilles right now, because there's not that many combo attack damage commanders. Take less damage, deal more damage. Love that. Okay. Cavalry gain attack. No, that's not what we need. 2 different types. 15% more damage. That's nice. Yeah, I'm not sure who the pair for Achilles is going to be. Just looking at his skill set right off the bat, I'm not seeing anyone that really screams out to me, because you want some defense. You want some defense because you don't have it. You get a little bit from KVK Tech, but he's so attack heavy. Joan, maybe? Attack. Deal more damage. Normal damage. Joan could be nice for that. Attack. This is skill damage. And you get a nice buff there. Yeah, maybe Joan. It's hard. If we go back over here, he really needs to be... He could be primary or he could be secondary. I think he probably wants to be primary, though, because you have that combo attack tree. I also think it's so unpredictable because you need that some of these direct damage outputs to be diminished there for you to actually get the value of his skills. I'm just not seeing it for Achilles, guys. I'm not seeing him as being as impactful, just based on my early evaluation. Okay. Let's look at Hector, because I think he's got more going for him, just in my opinion. So Hector can be infantry or he can be cavalry. Let's start with infantry. So here we are. Let's pull this up for you guys. This is his first skill. So he can deal smite damage to a target troop, damage factor of 2,600. The next 3 seconds, up to 5 nearby allied and friendly troops take 5% less damage. Okay. Smite damage. Who can we put him with off the bat? You got BQ. You got Luce. You got William Wallace. And you got Gorgo. Gorgo you really shouldn't be using in the field, but she's an option. So right now, most people are probably running either BQ Luce or BQ William Wallace. Let's see who has the better synergies here. I'm wondering if this could be a great pair for William Wallace. Let's take a look at that skill again. So damage factor 2600, and you get a buff. Up to 5 nearby allied and friendly troops take 5% less damage. That's such a good buff. That's a really good buff. But I do wonder if that counteracts what we're talking about with Philip on his. Because Philip... Yeah, Philip also has a take less damage buff here. So I wonder if those two cancel each other out. I don't think they stack. So I don't think you'd want Philip in your lineup with this guy. So that's fine. But that damage factor is really nice. I'm wondering if you put him with William Wallace. And you have William Wallace primary. Because a lot of people ran William Wallace Luce. That could be. Okay, let's keep looking. Let's look at his next skill. Beneath the Skayan Gate, you get March Speed, 10% health, 30% defense. So what you really need is you need attack. So let's find some attack somewhere. Infantry doesn't have a whole lot of attack. BQ has 40% attack in March Speed and health. That's really nice. Love that. There's some good synergy there. So there's BQ. That's not bad at all. Let's look at who else is going to give us a little bit of attack. I'd like to get Scipio Ragnar sorted out, but I guess you could bench both of them in theory. You get 10% health, 30% attack, and 20% march speed. That's almost the same as what you get with BQ. Yeah, 20, 10, 40 versus 10, 30, 20. That's not bad. You take less normal damage with William Wallace, and whenever you deal smite damage, there's an 80% chance that that damage will be increased by 40%. That's not bad. And then you deal more smite damage, and you deal more normal damage. Whenever this commander's troop uses an active skill or is slowed, all slow effects. Yeah, you get a mighty shield. The mighty shield is useless, though. So this isn't bad. I think the problem with him is actually that he's a single target commander. So ideally, I have him with someone who's going to deal AoE damage. I guess what you could do is you could run William Wallace Luce and get AoE from Luce there and run BQ with him. Maybe. That defense bonus is nice. Now, there's a 50% chance the spike damage is going to be increased by 15%. I wonder if those stack. Probably not. And if this commander's troop is attacking a troop on the map, has 50% chance. That bonus to normal damage is amazing. That's amazing. So that's going to be smite damage up the wazoo. You could probably run him with William Wallace and be totally fine. It's just kind of like the classic Nevsky Ho Chu Bing thing that you don't really want. So you could also run him with BQ because, again, BQ has all the same bonuses. And BQ has this malice thing going on for him. Rage recovery. Smite damage bonus. That might be a good idea. If you run him with BQ, you're getting that same smite damage multiplier that you get with William Wallace with him. And now you can have William Wallace with Luce again. And that way you can run 2 smite command. I like that pairing. I might consider putting him behind BQ. We're going to have to do a testing. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. Now, what about cavalry? You want just 2 combo attack damages against the target troop. Arthur needs defense. We already know that. So we get a defense bonus from him. We can get a 30% defense bonus, a 10% health, and 20% march speed. That's good. And whenever we launch a basic attack, we have a 20% chance to launch an extra combo attack damage. Now, what I really like about this, again, there are skills that Cavalry have specifically that will increase the percentage chance of this. So that's magical, because that means that you're going to be triggering it a ton, and it can trigger up to 3 times if you assume it's going to. I really like him as a combo attack damage commander. I think there's great synergy there. If this commander's troop is attacking, 20% bonus to normal damage. Yeah. Every second their troop has a 50% chance to gain a bonus to skilled. Oh, that's otherwise. Yeah, I like these. It's the 50% chance, the 20% chance. That's making me think butterfly effect, right? You want butterfly. If you have butterfly with this, that's going to be amazing. I'm thinking that he's probably going to be our best pair for Arthur right now. And that's kind of where my head's at. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. And again, hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Thank you all. Chappy out.